daily wake-up at Watches and Wonders. My name's Belle Donati, and I'm delighted to have you with us this breakfast time as we wake up to see what's going on in the salon. Well, let's get you up to date with everything you need to know about the day ahead. We're going to start with some highlights from yesterday's brand announcements.
The new editions of the Oyster Perpetual Day Date 36 revisit an iconic model through the sparkle of diamonds. For the first time, the watch is presented with matching alligator leather straps and enamel hour markers in 3 vibrant hues and includes Roman numerals at 6 and 9 o'clock. There is a coral version in 18-karat yellow gold, a turquoise version in 18-karat white gold, and a burgundy version in 18-karat Everose gold.
When we talk about high frequency, we talk about colors. When you see colors, you see high frequency. This is why we chose to bring colors into the watches, not on the bracelet, not on the case only, but also in the movement, in the heart of high frequencies. Speaking about high frequencies and colors, there is no better example than the watch we revealed a few weeks ago, made in collaboration with the famous contemporary artist Felipe Pantone.
At Roger Dubuis, we love surprises. And let me just give you a hint of our latest madness. The pinnacle of our iconic single flying tourbillon collection coming in even more limited executions. Our obsession with art, with light, with luminescence has pushed our creativity even further. And this year we are really challenging all rules with an amazing timepiece, with a world premiere that reshapes the way we play with light and precious stones.
On the occasion of this edition of Watch and Wonder Geneva, we are, of course, very pleased to present a full new creation, the Hermès H08 watch. This is a new collection for Hermès Horloger, which expresses itself through a new geometry, a new way of hallmarking Hermès time. The Hermès H08 watch is part of the men's universe that Véronique Nichanian, who is in charge of the men's ready-to-wear, has been building with talent for more than 30 years.
Today, for the first time, actually, we are offering the possibility to integrate a movement into either the round case or the octagonal case. Different materials in terms of gold or other metals, and we limit basically the movements themselves. So there will be 20 movements of a certain type, no more, but these can be ordered in variations of cases and finishings. So everything is based on the movements rather than the cases or the watches themselves.
Well, now that you're all up to date on those brand announcements, let's dive into the detail. To do that, we're joined today by Elisabeth Durr. She's editor-in-chief at Quill & Pad, and she joins us from Karlsruhe in Germany. Morning to you, Elisabeth. Great to have you with us.
Good morning, Belle. Nice to be here.
Now, even to my untrained eye, there was a lot of colour on show in those announcements. Is that a trend you're seeing this week?
Absolutely. Color is the big trend this week. In fact, yesterday, Julien Tonard, the CEO of Zenith, even said after 2020, we need colors and we need joy. And so I suspect that has a lot to do with what's happening on the spectrum today. We have the Defy 21 Pantone from Zenith. We have the Roger Dubuis Excalibur Original Flying Tourbillon in a glow me up version, which lights up in the dark. The jewels around the bezel light up in the dark. And of course, the big announcement at Rolex with the Oyster Perpetual Day Date 36 in brand new colors. There were 3 brand new colors and alligator skin leather straps, which has never been seen at Rolex before, with the straps matching the colors on the dial. Very peppy, very colorful, very beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we all probably need a little bit of colour in our lives after the last year. What other themes have you been picking out from those watches we just saw?
So another very big trend this year is the sporty spirit or the sporty side of brands. And we saw that here at Hermès with the H08. This is sort of the Hermès take on the sporty casual watch. It's very geometrical, very sporty, very easy to wear, very casual, and yet very Hermès. It's different from the other sporty casual watches we see on the market.
Absolutely. Do you get the sense this year that customers, clients want even more control over what they're wearing on their wrists?
Yeah, and we see that in customization. There's, the high-end brands have always offered a fair degree of customization, but we just saw in that little clip that Ferdinand Berthoud has gone a step further. Their brand new watch called the FBRS is available in a choice of 2 cases, a round one or their typical octagonal case. But it's also very, very rare. The movement inside of it is skeletonized, and it is only available in 20 pieces. So there will only ever be 20 pieces of this movement, but the customer still has the choice of which case to put it in. It's an amazing thing.
Absolutely. Well, listen, thank you so much. Elisabeth Durr there, walking us through those amazing new brand announcements. We are now going to move on to the next part of our show, which is, of course, the view from the top. What news this morning from bosses of various brands? Well, earlier I spoke to Piaget's CEO, Chabi Nouri. The Maison is, of course, renowned for its ultra-thin watches. And I started by asking her if we may see more breakthroughs in that domain this year.
Breakthroughs and innovation are definitely great motivation for Piaget and have always been. So I can very clearly say that, yes, we will continue to innovate in ultra-thin. Ultra-thin has been part of Piaget's DNA since the very beginning, and that has enabled us to not only be the reference in elegant watches, but also to liberate our creativity.
And you have a new edition this year, a new ultra-thin edition.
Yes, absolutely. In 2018, we launched the Altiplano Ultimate concept, and last year we were able to do it as a sellable piece, so it became the world's thinnest mechanical watch in the world with only 2 millimeters. So, and we were also very proud in November last year to be awarded the Aiguille d'Or at the 2020 Geneva Watchmaking Grand Prix. So that was a great, great way to celebrate this really know-how, this historical know-how of the Maison. And this year we're very happy to unveil a new colorful edition in green that pays tribute to La Côte-aux-Fées, our birthplace.
It's incredible that during this difficult year in the watchmaking industry, but even in the world at large, it's been an incredibly challenging year. When you look forward to next year, what are your ambitions for Piaget?
So Piaget is the reference for precious watches, and all our creations really express this fabulous and joyful art de vivre, and that's what we want to continuously celebrate. So we're very happy and looking forward for this year to finally live our life to the fullest and be able to celebrate with our Piaget Society around the world, with our clients, our new creations, our new collection for high jewelry for the summer, for example, the opening of our flagship store in Beverly Hills, and to bring so many new experiences to our clients, online or offline.
Now, if I say the word personalization, what does that mean for Piaget?
Well, it means uniqueness, and it means the ability for our clients to be able to express their own personality and charisma. And this is not new for Piaget. We were really the first one to move into this direction already 60 years ago with the Style Selector. The Style Selector was very interesting because it gave the opportunity to our clients to browse between different lookbooks, and they were able to choose cases, different shapes, dial materials. They were able to engrave the bracelets differently. They were able to choose the strap, and that gave a lot of opportunity for them to co-create, and that's what we want to continue today. And we have today a new concept, which is the infinitely personal concept. And under this umbrella, our clients, they can really co-create with us, and they can select whatever they want, and they are completely involved into the creative process. And today we have the ability to do that on the Altiplano Ultimate Concept with so many opportunities, and also the Altiplano Tourbillon.
Now, last summer, you launched the Extraordinary Women campaign for Piaget. When we think about female empowerment, how important is that for you?
It's important, and what we wanted really with this campaign was to put the light and to celebrate these extraordinary women that inspire around the world. They inspire because they're exceptional in their creative field, and that's what we wanted to share with the world, that these women are making a change in their field. And I'm very happy to announce that we will continue this Extraordinary Women campaign with a second chapter this year in June. So let's stay tuned for that and get engaged in June.
Shabi Nouri, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, there you have it, the brand boss announcements, rather the CEO announcements. Time now for the watching brief. Today, we're taking a look at a special display. Let's, first of all, look at the watches we're going to be talking about.
Watchmaking has become a field of expression for new interpretations of time via original or novel displays. Arnold & Son perpetuates the style of 18th century English watchmaking. This timepiece features an off-center dial at 12 o'clock with hour markers. This configuration leaves all the room for the astronomical display of a 12mm 3D moon made of marble and aventurine, which requires only 1 day's correction every 122 years. Both time and moon phase indications are evolving on an aventurine glass dial below a sapphire dome. This 3D moon is completed on the back with the age of the moon and is powered by a 90-hour power reserve hand-wound manufacture caliber. With its 44mm diameter red gold case and its aventurine glass dial, this timepiece offers a journey to the stars. Grubel Forsey has made a name for itself with its tourbillon inventions. On this model, it is a 24-second tourbillon inclined at 25 degrees, which is complemented by a second time zone and the small seconds on the disc above. On the left side of the dial, the globe allows to read the world time on the 24-hour scale. The world time is also displayed on the back of the watch with a city disc. The hour and minute hands are placed on a suspended arch, and the 72-hour power reserve is indicated in a counter at 3 o'clock. The 42mm titanium case is topped by a 45mm bezel. Both are slightly curved for better ergonomics. The Maison also presents its first integrated titanium strap. This titanium watch is the expression of the Grubel Forsey sports watch and is limited to 33 pieces. This character watch from Maurice Lacroix keeps the spirit of the Icon collection and its claws encircling the bezel. The 45mm diameter case houses a new manufacture caliber offering an original display. An off-centered counter presents the hour and the minute. These time indications are completed with a small second display and a large date at 10 o'clock. Thanks to the open work of the dial, the eye is drawn to the regulation system. The alternating grained and Clou de Paris finishes of the dial enhance the deep blue color of the Cordura strap. While respecting the Icon codes, Maurice Lacroix creates a new visual balance with this timepiece. With its tambour collection, Louis Vuitton made a name for itself in haute horlogerie. On this automation watch, the moving parts called jacquemarts give the time on demand. When the snake-shaped pusher is pressed, the dial comes to life. The central snake head rises to reveal the jumping hour. The snake's tail swings toward the minutes, positioned under the hourglass of the power reserve. The eye of the skull winks, revealing a monogram flower, and its jaw opens on a Carpe Diem message. As an added subtlety, the LV525 caliber has been mounted in the shape of a skull. By combining an exclusive high watchmaking caliber with a subversive vanitas, Louis Vuitton orchestrates a unique show with this tambour Carpe Diem. This timepiece belongs to the 8 Wonders of the World, a series of 8 unique creations highlighting the most beautiful architecture in the world. Giving the hour and the minute, this timepiece is regulated by a flying tourbillon. On the dial, the Great Wall of China is crafted in a hand-engraved pink gold applique, which is gradually transformed into a powerful dragon surrounding the jade path. In the background, the sky is studded with sapphires and diamonds. On the horizon appears a distant mountain with a hand-engraved white gold applique. The engraving continues on the bezel, the lugs, and the case middle. Craftsmanship and mechanical precision join forces to give life to this unique composition. At Trilobe, the reading of time is a matter of deconstruction. This new architecture invites us to rethink traditional watchmaking patterns. On this Nuit Fantastique, the minimalist design masks the complexity of the mechanism. The outer ring indicates the hour as it passes by the logo. The minute wheel appears in an aperture above the disc with seconds indicator. The circles surrounding these two indications form an 8, a nod to infinite time. The watch is powered by the eccentric caliber, a signature automatic movement. For Trilobe, there is no need to look for hands. Time is subject to interpretation. Fantastic Night is available in silver, black, night blue, and secret. Ressence is known for its system of rotating dials, regulator type, and straight line indicators. On this Type 2N, the hour, the minute, and the second can be read on 3 constantly rotating dials, driven by a mechanical self-winding movement. The openings on the dial are used to power the electronic part of the watch, the E-crown. Controlled visually by the selector subcounter, this device allows the user to set the time, a second time zone, and can even be turned off. Controlled by a double tap on the sapphire glass, the E-crown communicates to a dedicated app by Bluetooth. Of course, when deactivated, the watch can also be set manually thanks to the lever on its case back. With this watch, Ressence is combining mechanical with electronic.
Well, now that you've seen them, let's dive into the detail of those amazing models. To do that, I'm joined in the studio, first of all, by Gianfranco Riccia, independent watch consultant. Morning, Gianfranco.
Good morning, Belle.
And then from Munich by watch trainer Joanna Langer. Morning to you, Joanna.
Good morning, Belle.
Great to have you both with us. Now, we've got a lot of models to discuss this morning, so we'll crack right through and right onto it. First of all, I want to say that I had to find out what special display meant. So for anyone who doesn't know, it means everything that's unusual, all those incredible intricate pieces on the display. I'm going to hand over to you, Gianfranco. Where do you want to start with these watches?
Let's start with something which invites us to dream. As I took one watch here, we began also with the Arnold & Son Luna Magna, which means a watch which, contrary to standard watches, doesn't have only a display and 2 hands running around it to show the time. But here we have an off-center dial, giving free space to have a beautiful dark blue night sky. And in the middle of it, we have this beautiful 3-dimensional rotating moon. So it's a kind of scenery of what we can see from these beautiful days here in Geneva if you look at in the sky during the night.
Beautiful. Joanna, is there a sort of theme you pick up through those watches?
Yeah, well, Gianfranco is in the sky with the moon, but if we look at the GMT Sport from Grubel Forsey, we're bringing it back down to earth, but continuing this 3D theme. So you have a beautiful rotating globe that's rotating once every 24 hours, And juxtaposed to this, we have the inclined tourbillon, which is making one rotation in just 24 seconds. So it's like you have this flying satellite on your wrist, or like a mini universe.
Beautiful.
And it's actually interesting to see, because the Paris-Le-Croix, the icon master date, also takes the focus on the regulator with the open work dial. So this is beautifully held with the suspended arch. So both focusing on the regulator of the watch.
Which shows us not only the time, but also the beating heart, giving the rhythm of the hands rotating around the dial.
Now
exactly, yeah.
These watches are, of course, they're all about special display vis-a-vis sort of technical details, but special display can also be very much about the aesthetic, can't it, Gianfranco?
Oh yes, and we spoke about the Louis Vuitton Carpe Diem. We saw it in the movie, which tells us much more than only time. It tells very story related to Carpe Diem. Make the best of your present time and forget the future. With all this jacquemart, these movements, as soon as you press on the pusher, the snake shows you the hour in the middle of the skull. It shows you the minutes, the power reserve, and even the teeth opens and shows you the message Carpe Diem.
It's quite hard to take your eyes off that. You'd just be pushing it all day, wouldn't you?
Yes, I think it's really could be addictive. In fact, that could be one way. Then I have the opportunity to just receive a few minutes ago this beautiful creation here from Louis Monet, which is one of 8 unique pieces in one box, and they all represent one of the marvel on the earth made by humankind in history. And this one here precisely indicates not only the time and shows you the beautiful tourbillon, but it truly tells your story. And it's interesting because it looks like a painting where the frame is part of the painting. It begins with this fantastic engraving heart case here, the bezel, and if you enter in the dial, you can recognize the dragon here, beginning a long path with each jade paved Great Wall of China, inviting you to follow the path to the diamond set sky.
And I had to ask you about this one because it was amazing to me that this is not sold on its own. You have to buy it within the set of the Wonders of the World.
Yes, the owner will have the privilege of have all 8 unique pieces in one single box. It means it's a kind of inviting to go through big symbols around the world.
Yeah, incredible. An artwork in many ways. Joanna, we're going to move you to something completely different. What other ways are there to show time?
Well, you see on the Triblobe, the Fantastic Night, they show us that we don't even need hands to have the time display. So here the time is displayed on these beautiful rotating numerals, which are rotating anti-clockwise around the dial. So this is giving us a real concept of the flow of time instead of the beating of the seconds. And it's taken also perhaps one step further with raisons, beyond hands. So we have markers on discs that are rotating within a rotating dial. So here, when you want to synchronize the time by tapping on the dial, the watch comes to life. So it's like the next generation, perhaps, of time display.
And Joanna, just very briefly, I want to make sure we see the raisons as well. Move us on to that one.
Yeah, so the raisons, if you see on the dial, we have a real fluidity of time. So the markers are like the hands on the discs, but it's the discs that are actually turning within the turning dial.
Beautiful.
So to set, yeah, it's a very futuristic way of time display.
Gianfranco.
So you see, a watch is not just to tell you time, but it shows you also how you spend time, and you have many different ways, and the subject is really fantastic, special displays, and yeah, there are different ways to interpret time.
Beautiful way, a beautiful way for us to finish there. Thank you so much to Gianfranco, to Joanna for taking us through those stunning pieces. Time now for us to go behind the clock face. Well, this is, of course, where we invite you to dream. We're going to be looking at 2 brands today. First, focusing on Chrono Suisse, which combines ancient traditions and, of course, modern technologies to create exceptional timepieces. Let's take a look. Well, I think we've all woken up after that. Now we're going to move on to Baume et Mercier, who have been looking for new materials to challenge their own future. Let's have a watch. Well, it's time now to take a look at the day's panel. As I'm sure you know by now, every afternoon the Fondation is hosting a panel discussion on a different theme within the watchmaking industry. Here on the Morning Show, we take you through those panels, looking back at yesterday's and, of course, at what's coming up later today. To do that, we're joined by Pascal Ravessou. He is the Director of External Affairs at the Fondation and a watchmaking expert in his own right. Pascal, morning to you.
Good morning, Belle.
Now, yesterday's panel was all about distribution in a post-pandemic world. What came out of that?
Yes, well, actually, it's been a dramatic change in distribution over the last year, and really tricky takeaways. The first one is that the pandemic, of course, has clearly accelerated, but also enabled the change towards a truly omni-channel distribution. The second one, and it's a big paradox, is that digitalization has actually reinforced this human dimension and the relation to a local clientele. And then the pandemic has definitely shortened the distance to the final customer for the brands.
That's very interesting. Yeah, so this notion essentially of reinforcing the need for human contact as well as the digital. Today's panel will, of course, be about client experience. Just tell us what we can expect from that.
Yes, client experience is a very central theme in luxury in general and for watchmaking in particular. So we'll, through the pandemic, see the changes that have happened and accelerated as well. And we try to answer to some questions such as what is the client experience in a digital era in terms of what the client can really experiencing through this, and what is the new role of a boutique? Is it still relevant? What is this phygital concept that everyone keeps talking again and again? And we'll have, of course, a look at the future of what could be client experience in the coming years.
Picking up on some of the themes discussed yesterday, but obviously with that client prism on them. Who is going to be discussing these subjects?
Yeah, we'll hear from Chris Granger here, the CEO of IWC, about some pop-up store experience and cross-brand collaboration. Then we'll have on stage Beatrice Goagla, the Vice President for Digital and Customer Experience at TAG. We'll hear from Matt Bowling, the CEO of Watchfinder, and their unique seamless customer journey. We'll have also David Hurley, Executive Vice President of Watches of Switzerland, about a new type of retail. And we have also the external expert, Guillaume Jonglet, from Oracle, a retail director strategy that has really a broad experience at helping luxury fashion industries to cope with the new demand in digital.
Fantastic. So that's a great lineup for this afternoon. I hope all of you will be watching. Pascal, thank you so much for taking us through that. Pascal, of course, will be there during the panels, so we look forward to seeing you there later on. That's it from us this morning. It's been a pleasure waking up with you this morning for Watches and Wonders. I hope now that you know the talking points, you'll be finding your own on the platform. Have an explore. Make sure you look around all those corners of the platform you may not have explored yet. And we'll be here tomorrow morning for another roundup. Bye.